Let's go. And we are here. These are an interesting
Well,
couple of hands.
from the highlight on this Gemstone Caverns, I'm guessing that Nathan is going to be is on the draw here, and so gets to put in this Caverns. Um,
Gemstone
let's
Caverns
see.
exactly where you wanted here. I think the turn one Ragavan is exactly what you want from this Boros deck. I always really like that against the big mana decks when I'm Mason disagrees. Yeah, I haven't played with Ocelot Pride very much. Maybe
Yeah, I
just getting
think
that
especially the second Ocelot Pride, I think I agree with Mason's decision here because you get to trigger both of them from the gaining of one life next turn.
just start
Uh,
immediately building that board.
yeah, exactly, and then the board can build real big, real fast. Kind of well, I mean, we'll get to see a little bit of an action, whereas uh, Nathan, we're only seeing 3 cards from Nathan, but it said Moto MTGO says that there's 4 cards in hand, so
One card absent, gotcha.
one
One
other
thing,
card. Imagine it's probably a good one.
an extra labyrinth,
Oh,
sure. All is
dust.
dust.
That's going to be really good, I think, for Nathan here with these Eldrazi temples being able to tap for 2. Next turn is only one mana away this turn from casting
Yeah,
its
not
next turn to come
bad.
down.
Not bad. On
That was
Mason's
kind of
turn, I would have been tempted to dash the Ragavan in and then play the Ocelot off of the treasure, but then, of course, this way, you don't have to keep on paying for the Ragavan every turn. I'm not sure which line is better, whether
yeah, it's an interesting thing. I mean, certainly if you're expecting something like All Is Dust, it's much better to have the Ragavan in hand, able to do some dashing. Uh, Mason, like I think that maybe the 2 Ocelot Prides would be enough pressure to have in play, but Mason's decided that having the Ragavan triggering and maybe getting to cast a spell off at this turn is kind of the real benefit you get.
Sure, sure. Yeah, I mean, with 4 mana this turn, you could
Like the
play
One
a
Ring,
One Ring. Oh.
what a hit! That's if you're on Team Nathan, that's definitely not what you want to see, because this All His Dust is not going to pick that up, and Nathan is going to have a lot of ability to rebuild here. And without Nathan, 15 mana is a lot, and Nathan's quite a ways away from casting this Emrakul. But of course, through the breach can always change things.
Have you seen someone cast Emrakul out of this deck? I haven't seen it, but I've got, like, sugar plums in my eyes.
I have not seen it yet, no, though I have not played with this deck very much myself. This City's Blessing,
So many tokens.
yeah, they are all going to die to this All Is Dust, but you do get to see the power of Ocelot Pride here.
Like
For those of you who haven't had the pleasure or the pain of playing with or against it.
like dust in the wind, so are the cats of our lives.
But Mason's going to continue to be blessed by the city here and cursed by the ring, taking a damage, but having 3 cards coming their way. Ooh,
Obs of direct damage.
yeah, that's also a lot of life gain to mitigate the ring. So
Yeah, I suppose Mason's life total matters if he does get 15, huh?
yeah, I mean, still getting 15 this turn. Oh, which is what's going to happen. Mason, you're
Oh.
back to
How many
0.
how many permanents does Emrakul annihilate? Do you remember how many? What?
I think it's one more than 5.
Oh, okay. Well, how many permanents does Mason Clark have?
One more than 5. Too bad you cannot sacrifice the city's blessing.
Oh, right.
But we, it's I think it's an interesting spot because if Mason could keep the ring, maybe maybe be closer. But as
Maybe.
is
Ring might
pretty
still just, like,
devastating.
solo you in 2 turns from 5.
Yeah.
I mean, I think there's still a game here. You can annihilate somebody and still have
Right, I
nothing.
just it's definitely possible for Mason to still win here. It's just, the spells in Mason's hand aren't actually that, like, good at putting pressure, right? There's the Flame in the
Right.
Graveyard, which requires 4 mana to set up. Otherwise, Mason needs to either draw running lands or threats, and for
Yeah.
Nathan to draw nothing. So definitely Nathan has the advantage bar here. And that I think is exactly hard castable.
You have to lose do you have to lose from the Besiege You?
You do, yes.
That
Yeah,
puts you
down
into
to
double
8,
bolt
which
Flage
is
range.
which does matter a lot here because that means that Mason could draw any untapped land for Flage here. In fact, we'll probably get even more draws at it because the Static Prison will delay the Ulamog.
Mason's gotta love seeing that. The self-shock here.
Yeah, I mean, I think advantage bar is back to Mason's side now.
I have responses.
All right, and big draw. Oh, it is the
There
untapped land.
there it is! Oh my god.
Boseiju.
What an epic game! I still have no idea who's
Wow,
favored.
that
That
was
game was
that
so
was that was
close.
absurd.
What a close game.
Wow, oh, crazy.
I would have been clinching from either of these players' positions. Just
You're a fan of the clench. All right.
you gotta clinch.
Well, now we get to see all of Mason's sideboard cards, which are already eagerly being added in, whereas Nathan bemoans what could have been.
You see those Charmaws coming.
Yeah, definitely think that one seems pretty good to come in here. The Damning Spheres also. Uh, the, the more of a question is, yeah, were we going to see the Sunspine Lynx new card from Bloomborough? Basically, price of progress on legs.
Really. That, that just perked my interest.
Yeah, so kind of interesting here. I mean, it makes sense taking out the removal spells that aren't particularly good, keeping the lightning bolts that can, as we've seen, finish things off.
It looks like the Besiju who shelters all got removed from the deck here.
Yeah.
Although
uh,
I bet you're, in fairness to the Besiju here, I'm sure you're excited to see that I don't have a copy.
yeah, my deck definitely is happy to not face it, but it's also that's why I get so much pleasure when I get to see someone losing to their own Boseiju.
Oh, yeah.
Uh, Nathan not not going too hard on changing plans here. Not like going into World Breaker or Thought Knot Seer mode. Just kind of sticking the same thing of through the breach something and then don't die to burn.
Right, yeah. I mean, I feel like Thought Not Seer is mostly there for combo, and you could consider it for some control matchups.
Yeah, absolutely. It's an interesting pivot though if you do think that Mason is boarding out things like Galvanic and the stasis prisms.
Sure.
Not actually having any real ways to deal with it. But I still think that Nathan's plan is a good one.
Devourer is so good.
It's interesting too. To Devour plus Ancient Stirrings. When you're on the play, do you just not cast the turn one Stirrings? If you to, I guess it depends what the card is. But if it's a good colorless card, is the interesting spot. If it's a good colored card, then you definitely don't cast the Stirrings. If there's nothing good, then you do cast the Stirrings. But if it's a good colorless card, you just basically cycle the Stirrings, or do you wait for a later moment. Looks
Yeah, it's
like
an interesting question.
the question has now been answered. We might get to see that not only the Ocelot Pride when it connects does cool things, but Guide of Souls Ocelot Pride gives it a trigger anyways.
White the combo.
Awkwardly for Mason, he would like to have access to 2 white mana next turn, but it's only gonna has either a red source and a tapped white source. We'll see what happens.
I guess the Stirring gets cast basically for free this turn anyway.
Yeah,
Nathan can kick Microspawn. Turn 3 on the play.
yeah, definitely with this Eldrazi Temple. I think that's what's gonna happen. Probably finds another temple and is ready for next turn bounce and cast the Devour, perhaps.
Mm.
And once again, we kind of see Mason a little limited by mana by Nathan's plan of, last time it was Emrakul getting rid of 6 permanents. This time only 1 land going away, but still a little definitely annoying and makes the decision to fetch basic planes over Sacred Foundry an interesting one because Serene of Glory is now going to come into play.
Yeah, that's kind of brutal.
It's the type of decision that saves you life, but and also that you usually make when you have Blood Moon in your deck. But still something to think about, especially let's say if Mason drew Charmaw, but instead the Blood Moon comes down.
Speak of the moon.
Need 1 more land for that, but probably not even going to be that good because of this All Is Dust. But we'll see.
Mason deciding what critter to jump. Interesting that it's the guide, not pride
Yeah,
here.
I think I would have just gone with maybe the Ocelot Pride just because you would gain an extra 3 life. The pretty much advantage Nathan here again, but we'll see what happens.
I'd agree
14
with that.
is a lot more to play with, but still Mason with a bunch of burn.
Almost the exact same burn component in Mason's hand, right? With double bolt, flage here.
Yeah, though last time Nathan was at 10 and took 2 from Poseiju. This spot a lot safer. These 2 talismans also preventing this Blood Moon from just being a KO, because
Correct.
these Devours can still come down. So Mason could lightning bolt this, but I think he's got the plan to perhaps save these 2 bolts for the Devourer. You draw the land, and then the Flage can answer the 3/3 for with a lot more mana efficiency.
Yeah, that's smart. That's solid sequencing.
We might even just see the Flage answer here because of the potential for fetch land next turn turning into Hasty Flage, and I will tell you, Hasty Flage is a good time.
Quite good, yes. Bringing back Devourer.
Ooh.
Oh, yeah. I was just thinking, like, I don't think you run this Devourer out because I think you save it as a potential answer to Flage, but Microspawn just does everything you want here.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, it was looking interesting because exactly enough cards in the graveyard that Mason drawing the land would have Flage come in and kill off a Devour and attack, and kind of these 2 lightning bolts killing off the other one. But We'll see which land. Yeah, the arena is definitely the scarier land. And it's interesting. You see the problem with against some of these big mana decks of Blood Moon just isn't fast enough to stop them from doing their thing. When I played a lot of Tron, that's kind of how it was too. That even if when they got a Blood Moon down quickly, you often just still had 5-6 mana. You could start hard casting things.
Right, right. The classic, like, all right, play my 5th land, crack my O Stone, nice Blood Moon type deal. I like
Yeah,
that decision to hit the arena instead of hitting the dual land there. Means that back-to-back land drops into Flage isn't nearly as scary.
yeah, exactly. It's a good decision from Nathan. Also, I think realizing white mana is not that deadly here, and get to see Mason 3 hate cards in hand. No good, no good. But,
Nathan takes it down. We're going to game 3. Aggro deck on the play.
yeah. Though the Gemstone Caverns let Nathan kind of steal the play back a little bit. Be interesting to see how it goes. And, yeah, Nathan is
Oh,
not Sears after seeing that there didn't seem to be any galvanic discharge or stasis prism left. And
interesting. I mean, it's a blocker.
yeah, I mean, 4 toughness. 4 toughness is pretty real. You know, there is the issue that a lot of what the energy deck does can go over the top of just a 4/4 grand body, but also if you're trying to just cast uh, a turn 2 Thought Knot Seer or something, you can get ahead of a lot of the hate cards that Mason has, which maybe is more interested to do on the draw rather than on the play when something more proactive from Nathan.
For
Uh,
sure, for sure. We got some opening hands here. Mason Clark has Ocelot Pride into a Johnny with a Charm on Bolt backup. The Parlor does come into play tapped, though, so that makes the curve a little awkward, doesn't it?
does, yeah, we might just see turn 1 parlor. Nathan's hand not amazing, but I think a keep, right? Would you agree?
It's a if you're keeping, you're, like, not excited about it. We don't
Yeah,
have One Ring, we don't have any part of the Through the Breach combo, we don't have a sweeper. The hand's not, like, particularly fast, like your Ancient Sternsing and trying to find, an Eldrazi land, and then you're not really getting rolling until, like, 3, 4 plus. Fortunately, Mason also has a slow hand, so it might work out just fine.
yeah, we'll see though. Mason's keeping on top with the surveil land, so probably a good one. And
I think I would wanna keep a red source for Mason's spot. I didn't.
yeah, I think any red source is pretty good. Uh, and very little else feels like that I would want to keep because I think you have most of the tools of aggression. You just kind of want to be able to unleash this charm off.
Yeah, I agree with you there.
My favorite though is getting to surveil a flage into the graveyard. That's
It's
just
the best.
the
It's so
best by so
satisfying.
much. Just
It feels like cheating.
yeah, it's the good brain chemicals right there. It's nice when you can make it something that makes you feel smart.
Play a land, draw a card. It's
Yeah,
like a
even
library.
better because you just
It's
get a 3 mana discount on the flage.
like a Library of Alexandria activation. Ooh, we found One Ring off that Stirrings. That's kinda what the hand needed, and there's an All Is Dust in the hand. It's still slow, but maybe.
And Mason kept a Ragavan on top. Is
Okay.
Which makes
Yeah,
sense to me.
it makes
Ooh,
sense, yeah.
I hate to see the third of Johnny.
The second one's live, right? Because you can legend rule them.
Yeah, yeah. The second one can do some work if you get to untap with it without being sweepered, which seems reasonable here. But the third one doesn't really do much. Maybe it will if because all this dust is going to happen and they still have a good floor. But
Insta flipping.
this does put a lot of pressure because Ragavan being a red permanent uh, means that every thing is going to be alive, and Ocelot means there's going to be a a lot of creatures coming soon. So,
Johnny's so messed up. Yeah.
yeah, I believe Nathan hovering over Kozlev's command to see if he can kill planeswalkers. I believe it is creature only.
Correct.
But so the One Ring can buy a turn. Uh,
The One Ring doesn't seem great.
and that's probably why Nathan looks like he's going to go with Kozlev's command instead.
Hmm. Maybe the hope is to just make a couple tokens and then scry into a land and get to land all his dust here.
Yeah, definitely dangerous to do that because Johnny represents a lot of damage.
So much damage.
So it seems like we might be seeing Ragavan getting exiled and tokens being made instead.
Just rip. Just just hit the land. You think a Johnny goes face or kills a 1?
Well, Johnny no longer does any damage because there's no more red, not other red permanent.
Yeah.
Just I think that,
Yeah. So
and then yeah,
neither.
Nathan was hoping to draw final land. But even if not, I think a lot of pressure. But maybe Micah Spawn is fast enough to jump block and get another chance to final land because the Micah Spawn can find a Eldrazi temple. Mason really wishing he had another red source.
Oh yeah. Yeah, the Charmaw being trapped in hand is a very big deal here.
Yeah, I think if Charmaw could come down, that would be kind of lights out here. But
You'll let the Johnny bolt too.
yeah,
Hmm.
not sure if putting counters on cats. Yeah, that's
It is a lot of cats.
yeah, a
It
lot of
is an
cats.
awful lot of cats.
And ooh, if you're on Team Nathan, you do not want to see
This is okay.
Overlord instead.
So from Nathan's spot, I really like micro spawning for the Urza land. Imprint one of these all as dusts, and then cast the One Ring off of that.
That's a really nice play. Yeah, I think I like that too. And then the next turn you have access to all his dust. You're 10 life. Looks really good to me. I mean, obviously we know Mason has this Charmaw, and a red source kind of killing that Urza land is pretty devastating.
It'd be very devastating, yeah. But you're
But
not
still,
like
I think
really
that
in a
that
worse
does
spot.
look to be Nathan's best line. Other lines, I guess, command refunding itself into doing things.
Sure, sure. Yeah, that's a good point. The Kozilek's command could also set up the land drop, just similar to the micro spawn there. Looks like we're just seeing the ring come down.
You know, the ring could also, I guess, have set up a land drop, but now I guess we can try and do something I saw you do on an earlier week. Lift command to set up ring recursions before eventually dealing with the board. But
I believe I lost that game. Charmaw coming down.
Johnny can start killing off these spawns.
That's a pretty big deal.
Yeah.
Now Nathan's in a spot where he kind of needs to hit more rings, right? Like, there's not really an option. Little on the suffocating side of things.
Yeah. It's, I mean, I guess Nathan does get to see 3 more cards, so it could be
Packing it. Interesting.
interesting. I was thinking that, let's say, ring plus 2 mana land, but well,
Cool.
That was
Interesting match. I think
yeah,
my
pretty
favorite
good,
was
especially game one. Really,
very
really
impressive game one.
Yeah.
Yeah.